Big Lou, and this is Big Lou Barbecue, and today I'm not real sure what I'm going to do. I know what I want to do. I want to cook a Boudin Stuffed Pork Butt. Yeah, that's right. I've never done that before. Check this out. Found this at my local grocery store. A Boudin Stuffed Pork Butt. Now, I've cooked Boudin Stuffed Pork Loin before. I cooked those hotter and faster than I would maybe a pork butt, which is a tougher cut of meat with more fat in it. Generally, I'd cook that around 225 and down low. Usually cook a pork loin like 300 or above. So I think I'm gonna do maybe 275. I know more about what I'm not gonna do than I am, so let's talk about that. All right, so here it is. It looks like that they just took this pork butt and took a knife and put a crack right down the middle of the butt. I mean a slice right down the middle of the butt. And then they did the left cheek and the right cheek, and they stuffed it with Boudin. It goes down fairly deep in there, all right? If you don't know what Boudin is, it's like a sausage rice dressing stuff. It's delicious. The fat cap of this is on the bottom. Now I said we're gonna talk about what I'm not gonna do. I'm definitely not gonna cook it fat cap up. And I don't want this Boudin, you see some is already falling out. I don't want this Boudin falling through my grill grates. So I think I'm just gonna cook it right here in this carbon steel pan. That way any of the au jus and the drippings will stay in here and I can come back and baste it, all right? The other thing I'm not gonna do is I'm not gonna put some sticky, sweet barbecue rub on it. I'm going to, and I don't want something that's too salty because the Boudin's gonna have salt in it. So the fella who first told me about Bear's rub, there's Bear's rub right there. He said he uses it on his Boudin stuffed pork loins. I've tried it on Boudin stuffed pork loins and it's delicious. So I'm gonna use Bear's rub. And I'm going to wipe it down with some Worcestershire sauce and water. It's about 50-50 Worcestershire sauce and water. All right, and I'm going to tie it up this way with some butcher string, butcher twine, just to kind of hold it together. And I'm just gonna heat the grill up and set it in this pan and cook it like that. All right, so let me get it tied up, show you what it looks like. All right, so I got it tied up with pieces of string, one here, one there, three of them, and I cut the ends off of it. Now I'm gonna take this Worcestershire sauce and water mixture, and I'm gonna paint the meat part, not the Boudin. Of course, some of it will dribble into the Boudin, but that's all right. And I'm just gonna paint this all over the pork butt. I guess, never cooked one of these before, just kind of doing it like I would a loin, but it's a different cut of meat, so. Be right back after I get this done. I thought I'd take you along once I turn it over. You can see the fat cap. I haven't trimmed any of it. I'm not going to trim any of it. I think I knocked too much Boudin out in the trimming the fat cap part. So we're just gonna leave it on there and I'm gonna cook it fat cap down in this pan. All right, now we're ready for the rub. All right, you don't need to see much of this. I'm just gonna apply the Bear's rub all over it. I'm running out of that can. Good thing I got a new can in another can in the cabinet. And you know what it looks like. All right, well I got it dusted with the rest of my Bear's rub, and I didn't have to open up the new can. You should always have one ready though. All right, so anyway, get to throw that one away, and that one's for next time. All right, let's go out and get the grill thrill on. Yeah, my coals in the chimney aren't lit fully, but they're lit about as far as I need them to be. What I've done is I've set up a charcoal snake going all the way around the perimeter of this charcoal tray, two and then one on top of every, four of them. And I sprinkled some hickory chips in there. And I'm going to double light the snake, not just one end, but both ends, so that it burns around like this, because I want it to be a little hotter than, a 225 type cook. So I've got these ready to go. They look like that. I'm just gonna pour them right here. I got a few hickory chips ready. That's just the back of the charcoal bag that I use to light my chimney with. Just about a dozen of these right here. There we go. Sorry, you probably saw the back of my elbow, but you can see I just put them right here, and then they'll kind of burn around, and it'll keep the thing fairly steady. All right, that's saying 236, that's saying 250 at 238. So it's about where I want it to be. I'm looking for 250 to 300. It's going to be real easy. Just going to set it down right like that in this pan. Move that out a little bit. Move that toward the center. Every now and then I'm gonna come back and baste it. We'll see how long it takes. I'm gonna put a probe in it. See how long it takes. All right, 1 hour later, the pit tip was at 245. It held temps real well all day, but the pork butt was at 156. That was way too high for only 1 hour in. So I take it off, take a look at it, and I know that's way too high. The tip of that probe was right down toward the bottom of the pan and the fat cap. I checked it there and I said, yep, that's the problem. It's down at the bottom. Let's move that probe. So I do not recommend touching a hot probe with your bare hands like that. That thing was hot. But once I got it into the center of the pork butt, it was reading around 126, and that's about right. Now, the reason I kept it in the pan is so that I could baste all that au jus back onto it, and if the boudin falls out, I could pop it back in just like that. I basted it every hour. My vents were at 20% closed, 80% open all day long. At the 4 hour mark, I checked around the top and the bone, and it was about 150-ish, 156 in some places. I was like, well, it still needs to go a little bit longer. Down at the bottom of the pork butt, though, it was reaching slicing temps 175, 180 or so down there at the bottom. 5 hours in, my pit temp was dropping drastically. My coals were running out, so I took everything off, and I started to move the hot coals over to where they were still lit there at the point where the snake met. And then I added more charcoal each side after cleared out some of the ashes. Put a chunk of wood on there, not for smoke, but to get the pit tip up a little quicker. And I let it stay on for another hour after putting it all together. But I had to cook other things for dinner, so it had to go into the oven for a little bit. Well, there it is. It went 6 hours. And this was still up here, was going about 155 or so. I took it in and put it in a 200-degree oven, not to finish it, but just to keep it warm while I burned some Brussels sprouts. Grilled some Brussels sprouts. All right, on the same grill, I lit up some more charcoal. And these potatoes, they're good and done. Onions. And right here, I also grilled up some tortillas. So this is my makeshift tortilla de gringo que habla español. Right there. I just keep it in cast iron. Okay, I let it rest while I put the butter and salt on the roasted onions. Those things are delicious. The one on top of my baked potato. Let's see what this looks like if we cut it. I remember I was wanting to cut this to slice. Wow. Maybe I should get shears to cut the strings. Wanted to cook it to slice, but it was down pulling temperature down at the bottom. And that string will get... So it may have gotten overdone, but it was saying at the top in the 150s. Pull these on out of here. All right. Let's see what we got here. We'll slice it from the non-bone end first. Yeah, it slices. Oh, look at that. That's just the meat. Now here's the side with the boudin. And the boudin doesn't go that deep in it, does it? It's just kind of on top. So, all right, sliced pork butt with boudin stuffed with boudin. All right, I'm gonna do a taste test. I'm gonna slice this up and we're gonna eat. Okay, well, here it is. It kind of started to fall apart. So, I'm gonna do it this way. I've already tasted it. You know I have, all right? Okay, I'm gonna do it this way. I'm gonna take a little piece of meat right here. Yep, sliced pork butt tender, about like country style ribs, which is from the pork butt. Excuse me for eating my fingers. Boudin's pretty good. It's gonna require some hot sauce for me. All right, I'm plated up. Give you a shot of that. All right, well, here's mine all plated up. I got some crystal hot sauce on it. Got the baked potato with the roasted onions. The charred and tasty Brussels sprouts, marinated, by the way. Toasted tortilla, and there's that sliced pork butt with the boudin, hot sauce. Hey, thanks for sticking around. I got a little bit of regret and a little bit of recommendation. I don't regret the way I prepped it. That Bear's rub goes well with pork and it goes well with boudin. It's not like a traditional barbecue rub that I think would have clashed with boudin flavors, because it's, you know, very savory. It doesn't have that sweet and salty barbecue rub taste. It's different. So I'm glad I used the bear's rub. That's what I use on Boudin Stuffed Pork loin. I wish I hadn't tried to cook this to slice, because some of that on the bottom was able to pull. I pulled that, mixed it with the Boudin, wrapped it up in a tortilla like a fajita taco kind of thing, and that was good. I wish I had just cooked the whole pork loin to pull, and cooked it down, you know, till it gets to the stall at about 160 or so, wrapped the whole thing up and just pulled it all with the Boudin. However, I probably will never cook a Boudin stuffed pork butt or any stuffed pork butt ever again. I think I'll just stick to stuffing pork loins. So anyway, thanks for watching. It was an interesting cook and an interesting meal, and we all enjoyed it. Thanks for watching Big Lou Barbecue.